Hey guys, how are you doing? What you just saw was created entirely in Spline, and it's quite easy to make, and it is this gassy vape thing that just fills up nicely, and you will learn how to animate and model this, so it doesn't take too much of your time. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is open up Spline and land on this plain square. So that's step one. Well, now you're gonna delete the square and add a brand new cube. So let's get that going. So you saw the initial shape, try to replicate it. It doesn't have to be the same, but this is what we are going with for this tutorial. We're gonna set the corner radius to something like this, and since the web is a bit thin, I just made it thinner. So we might fine-tune this along the way, and you don't have to stick to what I show you, and feel free to do what feels better. And again, we're going to add another cube, and this cube is actually going to be the lid or the cap, and it has to be thin as well. We're going to play around with the settings a bit here. So one thing you need to keep in mind is that the shape of the cube or the bevels on the edges depend on how you resize this thing, and if you drag it by these corners, it will keep the bevel or the corner radius intact, but if you drag it by those knobs that are close to the dragging arrow here, it will not maintain the corner radius. So if you want to flatten out something and get a unique shape, you can use a combination of both of these to achieve the result you want. And we've managed to make a flat looking cube with a little bit of bevel on the top, and this is how we do it. I'm gonna do a bit of fine tuning here to get the shape I want. Next, we want to select the body of the vape and add a Fresnel, and I'm gonna set the scale to 2 and reduce the transparency to 80%, and then we want to add a glass material as well right below the Fresnel, and we're gonna set the blur to around 20%. I guess it's not in percent, but let's say it's 20. So let's rename this for ease, and now that we know what the body is, we're gonna duplicate it and reduce the size so that it fits right inside the original body, and then we're gonna get rid of all the layers and just add color. So I'm gonna select a decent color here for now, which I'll obviously fine tune later. And when you resize it, you can see this nice blur going on inside, which looks gassy, and it's mainly due to what the glass outside is displaying. And gonna give it a bit of resize so it looks closer. Next, what you're going to do is start animating, and that'll be sort of a foundation animation which will just test out how things move and react with the glass, because we need to make sure it looks good in the end. So I'm going to start with a starting event, set the duration to 7 seconds and make it sure it loops, and it's flowing up nicely. And I'm going to do a bit more fine tuning here, and I'll see you soon. Alright, we're back again, and I feel like the lid could use a bit more fine tuning, so I'm gonna get that out of our way as well. So I'm testing out the animation once more, and this is not how we want it to animate, but I'm just testing out and see how things reflect with light, and how things flow through the glass. Right now I'm going to duplicate this gas, and we want the gas to start from the top. Pull it up there and just resize it. So we want something that flows both ways, so I'm gonna test out a dual emitter sort of thing where the gas fills up from both sides. I'm not sure if it will look great, but we're just gonna see how it works out in this case. The lid looks a bit dull, so I'm gonna give it a bit more color. So we're gonna set the base state of the gas on the top, so to be invisible, and the second state to be visible, so it'll kind of fill out from both sides like that. And this is something that is an option if you want to try it that way as well. It looks smooth, but I think we can do better. So we're back again, and I'm not happy with the lighting, so I'm gonna try a different blur and see if it works out well. I think that is more gassier. Doing a few tests in the background, and one thing we forgot is we could actually add a box that is going to contain this vape, so something like a product container. I'm gonna get the corners at the start and then get it looking like that. It's too big. Give it a bit more size and set it behind the vape so it stands there nicely. You can already see the shadows falling back on the box. Creates a nice semi-realistic effect. And you have to keep in mind the dark colors does not reflect shadows well, but we're going to test a few colors along the way and see how it works. And I'm not a fan of the blend between white and black over here, so we'll probably fix that as well. playing around with the lights, because I think we can do better, because it's a bit dark over there and dark scenes are not really attractive. So let's play around with the lights. We're gonna make another light to the scene and hopefully improve the visibility of the objects in the scene. One thing I wish that Spline had was multiple views, where I could just split the screen into two, and one of the views would be facing the front and the other view I could just angle and reposition my lights, something similar to what Blender does. But we can work around with what we have for now. So playing with the Fresnel to get a more decent purple esque light, not pure white, so that it blends well. So we have an issue where the bottom of the vape does not reflect the gas as I like it. There's a bit of white which is not really pleasant, so trying to figure out how to solve that, and let's work our way through this. Resizing or readjusting the corner helps a bit, but I like the initial shape I had. I'm gonna bring it back. Let's try a few more ways. So if we can pull it down, it just seeps through, which is not ideal. Adjusting the radius didn't help either. Adjusting the glass might help. Let's check that out. There seems to be an effect on that. I think the glass helps a lot in how things should show up inside. I think we can work with this right there. Yeah, I think the gas looks better now, and keep in mind this is just the initial stages, and we'll make this looking much better along the way. Trying out a new angle. Another thing we could do is apart from the vape being animated, we could actually animate the product box as well, so it'll give some definition to the scene and keep things more alive. So let's get that animated as well, which is quite quick, as you can see. So both of them do their own thing, which feels a bit more alive. Yeah, that looks good. Testing out a new angle, which might feel good. There's a shadow showing up on the under the clip, which is a bit off, so I'm trying to fine tune how it falls off, so you don't have to spend too much on resources as well. If you are planning on implementing something like this on a website, we want to make sure that the scene is not too heavy with lights and shadows. So if you can disable lights that does not need shadows, you can do that as well, so it will help optimize the scene and keep things smoother on web browsers. So I think it's time I fine-tune the gases a bit more. I'm trying. Looks good, but I think we can still improve. You can actually close it here, add some words and call it a day, but If you want to keep improving, let's follow along. Let's try a more magical color, maybe something like that. If you notice, there's a gap or there's a delay in the gas seeping in, which happens in stages, and it's not smooth. It is not something we can fix at the moment, but I think we can work around it so it doesn't look too bad in action. So it's coming up in stages, but blends over there. There's something in the scene, I think it's the yellow, which I might need to adjust to a different color and fix that out. So I'm trying to think of ways to make this even better. Let's just experiment with 3 layers and see if we can create a different blend. That looks like a packet of gums, but I think the secret is working with the colors, so feel free to spend a bit of time on colors and make them blend well, and eventually the scene looks so much better when there is great colors and great lighting. So those are pretty much the difference between a great scene and a crappy one. We have a nice effect going over here with the bottom layer, which I might try to replicate with the rest. It looks like the gas is flowing upwards. There we go. So yeah, the bottom layer is definitely something I love, and we're gonna be working with the top layer now. Reduce that, make it look like it's coming from the bottom. Fine tuning is something I always do along the way, and it's definitely not the first thing, and it's not realistic to show a tutorial where I just perfect every move. So I'm just gonna show all my mistakes and everything I learned from along the way, so you can learn from them too. And things are looking fine. What if we start from over here so that it just fills up? Whoa, there we go. That looks cool, and it looks like there's a tornado going on inside with the gases, which is really cool. I'm in love with this. Might be able to fix the gaps a bit more, but I'm really happy with that for now. As you can see, there's a gap which we need to adjust. It looks like there's a storm inside, so a nice blend of colors would give you really nice results. So play along, find good contrasts if you like. You can even complement each other with weird colors and create some kind of weird effect. So I'm really happy with that, but definitely I might balance the colors a bit more so they blend nicer, and but yeah, this looks cool, and that is something I definitely want to keep on improving. Let's rename the layers for better organization. We're going to focus on the lid for a bit, just to see if other colors are working better, maybe something lighter. We don't want to go crazy on the colors as well. We just want to keep it clean and mute, so the attention is on the gas, not something else. So colors can be utilized in a way where we want the users to look at it instead of somewhere else. So colors is something very important in the scene. Animation can be an influence as well. For example, in a slow moving scene, something moves suddenly and then people start looking at it. So we want to keep things real classy and make them look good. This is not something I want, so you are free to take your own approach. That looks like a unicorn factory product. But I'm gonna go back to the mute colors, the colder grays, and keep it cleaner. I may be a fan of the black backgrounds once again. Alright, set the box. So as you can see, I'm constantly fine-tuning everything. This is just because I have this thing where I can't focus on the same thing for too long, which is good and bad in a way. It turns out for the better, because for example, if I'm working on the lid and I might switch back to the box, so I can forget about the lid, and then once I'm done with the box I might have a different idea for the lid, which works out well for me. It's just I switch between tasks so that I refresh my mind and I can quickly come up with newer ideas to optimize the scene. So as you can see in this scenario, the product design of this element turned for the better, or improved a bit, because if the lid was up, we'll have to keep the vape facing on the side, but now we brought the lid down so we can keep it upright on the table as well. So a bit of better product design. Obviously this isn't a real product, so there might be other complications like the vape tube interfering with the table. So I'm gonna forget about those complications, but keep it simple and easy for the scene. Playing along with the lights a bit more to see if we can come up with better visibility. I'm thinking that a silver looking white might work better for the lid, so let's try that out once again. I think that works fine. Let's make the box darker so there's a bit of contrast. Yeah, I think I'm a fan of this. The two products separate well, and just looks cleaner overall. Next I'm going to add branding, which is always fun and adds definition to the scene. So let's get that going. Alright, we are done with the branding, and now we are going to set the roles of orbit. What happens when we interact with the scene? You are free to choose anything you like here. I'm going to go with no interactions and just keep it in orbit, so it'll probably do that with the mouse. That might be a bit too heavy, so let's reduce it a bit. Sorry, you have to update the component. Yeah, now that's classy, looking fine. There's a tiny bit of fine-tuning that I want to do on the gas, which might improve the scene a bit. So I'm gonna reposition this to fill out the casing when it's in an ending state. So let's test that out. Fills up, and almost to the top. Yep, that looks better than filling it a bit halfway. It's almost 90% just instead of 80. So I think I'm going to keep it this way. The scene looks great. You can add your own additions here, but just remember to keep it neat, clean and classy. Nothing too fancy on the decorations. The colors play a huge role once again, and lighting is pretty important. So remember to follow the scene. If you need help, you can just leave a comment and I'll be happy to help you out. And this is it for today, and I will see you in the next one.